This is Mac OS Ken.
Fun with numbers without numbers. Tim Cook addresses China. And Apple makes money on AI without making AI. And not much of it anyway. It is Monday, the 23rd of March, 2026. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by NordLayer. Toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Squarespace, helping you stake your space online. Squarespace is a tool that just about anybody can use. Or a toolbox, maybe. I mean, it's going to help you build a website. That's what it's all about. You can do that with their award-winning, fully customizable templates or with Blueprint AI, a Squarespace tool to give your design an AI assist. So the look is entirely up to you. As for what you do with the site, well, what are you trying to do? If you just need a landing page for your cause or business, Squarespace can do that. Or you can sell and ship physical things, or showcase and sell digital things, or run a class, or build an online community. Squarespace has tools for making your space online. So what do you want that to be? See what you can do with a free trial at squarespace.com/MacOSKen. Then when you're ready to launch, use offer code MacOSKen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Whether raising awareness, selling a service, or starting a business from scratch, Squarespace has tons of tools to get you going. Go to squarespace.com/MacOSKen for a free trial, then use offer code MacOSKen for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for growing your presence online. Get started today at squarespace.com/MacOSKen. Fun with numbers without numbers, the MacBook Neo edition. Used to be an Amazon game, but Apple CEO Tim Cook started playing this past week, trumpeting numbers on Friday without providing actual digits. A piece from Cult of Mac had Cook hitting the Heil site to end the week last week, touting a huge week for Apple's low-cost laptop. Mac just had its best launch week ever for first-time Mac customers, according to Cook's tweet. "We love seeing the enthusiasm," concluded the message. Of course, he didn't say how many that was, but then he'd be playing the game wrong. It's fun with numbers without numbers. That said, the best launch week ever for first-time Mac customers is not nothing. The way Cult of Mac puts it, Apple faces the challenge of expanding the Mac beyond its established base of long-time users, particularly with price-sensitive customers. By introducing a more affordable model, the company lowered one of the biggest barriers to entry without ruining the Mac experience. Hey, as long as we're on the subject, why don't we check on MacBook Neo availability, don't we? Huh? They've almost all slipped into April. No foolin'! Sunday the 22nd of March, just after noon on Apple's site, Silver was shipping between the 7th of April and the 14th for both the 256GB without Touch ID and the 512GB model with Touch ID. Pickup for the 256 model showed availability at my local Apple store on the 14th of April, though I could have gotten the 512 in silver yesterday from my local store. Shipping dates were exactly the same for Blush, Citrus, and Indigo. Orders for both capacities of all three colors showed shipping between the 7th and 14th of April. As for in-store pickup, each of those showed availability on the 14th. I didn't do exhaustive lookups on other sites, but I did dip into a couple. B&H Photo made that easy. They show MacBook Neo as a new item that's coming soon, with a button to notify when it's available. The sites for Best Buy, Target, and Walmart were spotty for both delivery and in-store availability. If you want to just get a look at the thing, my nearest Best Buy store said that it had demo models on display. If you're looking to walk out with one, though, you will definitely want to check before heading in. Speaking of which, I finally got to an Apple store to see the MacBook Neo myself over the weekend. While Citrus is still my favorite of the new machines, I don't really need to paint one anymore. macOS Kenizen Robert wrote to me last week. He had made the trek to an Apple store and got to see something the online pics really don't convey. According to him, the Blush, Citrus, and Indigo Neos do a sort of trick of the light thing. Change the angle of the computer, says Robert, and colors become lighter or darker. They shimmer. It's almost like the metallic paint on cars. Yeah, he's not wrong about that. Personally, I think it is a really neat effect, one that no longer works with the black and yellow paint idea I was seeing in my head. Not that I was going to buy one to mess up anyway. Solid machines, though, and yeah, Citrus is still really striking. Robert seems more impressed with the Indigo, which is good. That means he and I don't have to fight over the last two. Thanks for your email, Robert. You are a scholar and a gentleman, and you rock. The December quarter was a banner quarter for computers in India. That is the word for market tracker Omdia, formerly Canalys. The firm issued a press release midweek last week that had sales of personal computers, excluding tablets, growing 17% in the fourth quarter, with laptops posting stronger growth. Units sold hit 4 million according to the report, with 3.2 million of those being laptops. That meant laptop growth of 22% according to Omdia versus desktop growth of 2%. Running through the Q4 top 5, HP was first with shipments of 1.275 million PCs, desktops, and laptops, representing year-on-year growth of just under 22% for the fourth quarter of 25 versus 24. Lenovo was second, with 751,000 PCs shipped on growth of 16%. Acer was third with shipments of 618,000 PCs on growth of just under 13%. Dell was fourth with 514,000 PCs shipped on growth of just over 18%. And Apple rounded out the top 5 with shipments of 296,000 Macs on growth of just under 24%. Of course, RAMnarök is coming for everyone, leading to an expected decline in PC shipments in India after decent growth for the year. 2025 saw PC shipments for the subcontinent rise 12.5%. This year, they are expected to decline 9.8%. Just guessing here, but MacBook Neo could stand Apple in good stead in India. An Omdia senior analyst is quoted in the release saying, while rising component costs may slow entry-level demand, they will likely accelerate the premiumization trend already seen in India's PC and tablet markets. As entry-level devices become more expensive, the price gap between mainstream and higher specification systems narrows, encouraging buyers to upgrade to devices offering stronger performance and longer life cycles. While the piece doesn't say what price point defines entry-level in India, it seems a safe bet that Apple priced MacBook Neo knowing it can keep the price where it is for the foreseeable future. Folks looking for stronger performance and longer life cycles could likely do worse than MacBook Neo, a pitch that might be made easier on the back of growth for Apple computers. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, NordLayer, a toggle-ready network security platform built for today's business, by which I mean your business. NordLayer combined VPN, access control, and threat protection in one easy-to-use platform. And they partnered with CrowdStrike to bring Falcon endpoint protection to small and mid-sized businesses. You don't need a lot of new hardware either. It is layers of security added to what you've already got, whether that's Windows, Mac, Linux, or a mix. And yes, it protects mobile devices as well. That is your business getting enterprise-grade security that's easy to deploy and manage. Well, easy and affordable. From small shops to bigger teams, you can add users, features, or servers in just a few clicks, starting as low as $8 per user per month, with special rates for teams with 100 seats or more. Quick deployment, step-by-step onboarding, 24/7 support. NordLayer stands ready to protect your business. And they've got an exclusive offer for you. Get up to 22% off NordLayer yearly plans plus 10% on top with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. Try it risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. I told you last week that Tim Cook was over in China partying like a rock star with a rock star for Apple's 50th anniversary. Yeah, that's not all he was up to. A piece from Bloomberg had Apple's CEO speaking over the weekend at the China Development Forum in Beijing. According to Wikipedia, the annual event's stated aim is to strengthen communication at a high level between China and the world, so yeah, that's going to draw the CEO of one of the world's most powerful companies. Commenting on goals shared by Apple and China, Cook said innovation, green development, and education are not separate properties. They are deeply connected. They represent the vision of progress that we at Apple share, and we are committed to collaborating with our partners across China to make that vision a reality. And a well-timed shout-out to developers in China. I'm sorry, I mean China's excellently talented developer community, in the words of the CEO. I say it's a well-timed shout-out thanks to the cloud under which Cook arrived in China. We talked last week about Apple lowering commissions charged in the App Store in China in an apparent attempt to appease regulators. We also talked about comments in state-run media that called on Apple to do more. Hey, look, it's an argument I made a year or so ago, apparently bearing out. The Wall Street Journal ran a piece midweek last week under the headline, "Apple is way behind in AI and still making a fortune from it." Roughly a year ago, maybe a bit more, Wall Street was losing its mind over Apple being left behind in the artificial intelligence race. The idea was that Apple would be hurt if OpenAI and other artificial intelligence firms delivered AI, let's call them solutions, if Apple couldn't do it. The question I remember asking, what do these chicken littles think OpenAI and the rest are going to run their AI, sure, let's call them solutions, on? People would still need hardware, and who has, will have better, more popular, and more sought-after hardware than Apple? Move ahead however long it's been, and we find Apple taking in close to $1 billion in AI-related revenue per year. The journal has analytics firm AppMagic estimating that generative AI apps paid Apple somewhere in the neighborhood of $900 million in App Store fees in 2025. While $900 million would keep me in bourbon for a bit, the journal points out that it's not a lot of money for Apple. I gotta say, though, it is a lot of money to make on AI when you don't really make AI yet. Generative AI apps are a growth driver for Apple's services business, the journal points out. And the piece says, Apple's dominant share at the top of the smartphone market affords it another luxury. Time to get its own AI strategy right. And finally today, if you're an Apple Card holder and a Walgreens or Duane Reade shopper, there is more daily cash available. Mac Rumors says the trio has upped its daily cash reward from the usual 3% to 5% for the next couple of months. The added bonus is good for purchases in-store or online through the 20th of May. May I just say it never once occurred to me that you could shop Duane Reade or Walgreens online. According to the piece, 5% daily cash is limited to $500 in combined Walgreens and Duane Reade purchases, meaning that the maximum cash back that you can receive from this offer is $25. I assume that is per day, not over the next 2 months. If you find out otherwise, though, feel free to let me know. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with offer code MacOSKen at squarespace.com/MacOSKen. This show is also sponsored by NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macosken at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macosken.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.